Ladies and gentlemen of the Gojo Clan, welcome back to, you guessed it, another video covering Marathon. Now, it is Marathon week, you know what I'm saying? This is the week that you get to get in there and try the game out for free until the 2nd. So why not? You know what I mean? Why not put out another video? And I figured some more things out, so I want to cover a little bit of that and give y'all exactly what you need to know before you get out there in your raids. Let me tell y'all, I got all the knowledge that I need right here. But before we get into my notes and everything that I figured out, man, I thought I'd talk to you guys a little bit, just a smidge, about, once again, for the last time before the game drops, what Marathon is even about. Now, I did do a little bit of research and I watched the video, and this was a man, I believe he was foreign. I don't know where he was from, but he had that accent, y'all, when he was telling the story of Marathon, and it was, y'all know what I'm talking about. And basically, he was going on like how Bungie has already kind of had Marathon in the works for years, like early 2000s. And it didn't start off as an extraction shooter. It just started off as its own kind of like game where it was giving you the backstory about how humanity went out there, as they do, to go and find life on different planets and stuff like that. And in they search, they thought they found something. They invented AI to help them out with the technology, and not only humankind, but also AI failed miserably at that whole little shenanigans. And now the world is kind of where it is now. Now, again, I skipped a whole bunch, but I say all that because in the process of learning about Marathon, this video was letting me know that Marathon was more so based around the survival aspect, because it's not about humanity. It's not about doing all these things and going out and researching and trying to find ways to keep human beings alive. What it's actually about is solely survival. AI are kind of the top dogs right now, so they taking over, and they give you little bits and pieces of the story, which is why you're out there as a runner, and you just out there to get them the resources that they need to fill their own selfish needs, because the AI have adapted so much that they've taken on their own personalities, they got their own thoughts, and they got their own agendas. And that's where all the factions come in. So just in case anybody was wondering, like the lore aspect of it and what's going on with Marathon, it is truly a game of just survival of the fittest. You getting out there, you working with these shady ass factions that ain't telling you the full story, but you also don't fully care. You just trying to survive like everybody else. So you go out there and you do what you got to do in your runner shell. There it is. That's the very quick version of the background of Marathon. Now, getting into some gameplay things and stuff that I feel like you guys might actually really need to know too once you start booting up the game. And to help me out with that, I got this video that Marathon dropped, and it's showing a little bit more. They keep throwing out these little teaser videos showing just a little bit of gameplay, like one raid, or hey, this is kind of what happens if you run into this and that. So they've been letting out some things, letting us know, so y'all can definitely check out their channel on YouTube, man. And they have so much more than what I'm even covering, but I still got y'all. In this particular video that I got my notes down on, it was going over the thief shell. This is the one with the drone as the ultimate, and they can use their grappling hook, kind of like Pathfinder. We're gonna talk about those things, don't worry. Basically, in this clip, I noticed that the thief shell kind of started out with using the grappling hook. Now, I did notice something that's very important for me to say, y'all. Unlike Pathfinder, this one doesn't look like it's gonna give you that same exact kind of crazy movement. Like, the grapple doesn't go as far as Pathfinder, and once you're done using the grapple, it's not like you can get that slide animation and crazy hopping, bunny hopping movement all over the place. You're not gonna get that. But it is still really good movement in an extraction shooter where it doesn't seem like everybody has the craziest amount of movement. And in that process of learning about this grappling hook, I also see that the screen pops up and says something about heat buildup. Now, if y'all are like me, you thinking, Tutti, what the hell is heat buildup, nigga? I got you. Hold on. Class is still in session. I'm gonna teach. So basically what they said is heat is kind of their version of stamina. And it makes sense when you really think about it, because you have a robotic kind of body, right? So no duh, you don't need stamina, but your shell can overheat. So I think that's a dope kind of way to put in your own sense of stamina. Again, at the end of the day, it is still stamina, but it makes sense for the lore and for your characters. Now, something that is fire is that because in this map that you guys are seeing right now, because it's raining, it reduces the amount of heat that your shell uses, right? So now you don't use as much because the water is keeping your body cool. And they even states that if you're in water, it won't have as much heat buildup as it would if you were, let's say, for example, on like a scorching hot planet. You know what I mean? You might build up a little bit more heat at a quicker rate there because it's so damn hot. You trying to use all your abilities, which is just constantly overheating your damn shell. And now you're gonna run out of stamina, but in this game again called heat. And you can keep track of it because it's gonna have a bar right there in the middle of the screen. You guys see it. It's like it slightly hovers above where the guns will be placed, but it's still noticeable enough for you to see exactly what your heat gauge is looking like. So I thought that was super important, something that y'all really needed to know, man. Environment affects your heat, and using your abilities can also affect how much heat you pushing off. Again, all of this is just stamina for this game, okay? Cool. Let's move on to the next thing. The next thing on the list is dummy bags. Now, I personally did not know this or figure this out on my own. Actually, somebody in my comment section in the last video said, oh, hey, I don't know if you know, but that thing that you was talking about, wondering what that person was doing, that's called a dummy bag. I said, excuse me, sir, what the fuck is a dummy bag? A dummy bag is something that Marathon included in the game to throw off your opponents, bro. And basically what's supposed to happen is if you can throw down a dummy bag, and let's just say you throw it in a pile of dead bodies, and you know these niggas is gonna be loot hungry, right? You throw it somewhere in the middle so it don't look super inconspicuous, and the second they go into the bag, pop, them niggas explode. They get knocked down off rip, and now you can get up in there, and it could be a 2v3 situation, or it could just be like this might have been the last person and they was just being some goblins, and now you got an easy kill. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that that was fire. The fact that they have a dummy bag in this game. Now, I don't know how you get it. Maybe it's something that you got to equip every single time you go into a raid. But regardless, that just makes it that much harder for you to just be a loot goblin, in my opinion. Like, you're going to have to be more cautious. And I like that aspect because as far as I don't know too many other extraction shooter games that include something like that, to where the second you start looting a body, it's a dummy and you explode and get knocked down off rip. I think that's crazy. But speaking of being knocked down, something else I figured out in this video too, y'all. Even if you get thirsted, whether it's by the AI or by another runner, that does not mean that you are out the game completely. If your teammates are still alive, any one of them, they can res you. Now, the process is a little bit slower, so you know what I mean? It's gonna take longer for you to pick somebody up, so maybe you got one of them being a lookout and you are kind of like a sitting target. So if you doing it in the open, boy, that could be your ass. But I think it's fire that, okay, just because you got thirsted, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the raid for you. Somebody on your team could still bring you back. And a bonus to it, y'all, if somebody on your squad decides to run the medic runner, they can use their ult and damn near immediately bring you back without all the drawbacks of sitting out in the open and having that possibility of getting popped. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's fire too. You're never fully out of the raid as long as you got a teammate in it. I think that's fire. On top of the fact that you could also still have a self-revive kit. They give you a lot of ways to stay in the game, man. But I also want to talk about this clip right here where you guys are seeing that the runner is throwing all types of shit, right? You see them throw something that looks like a recon beacon, and then you see them throw something that look like it's doing a little bit of damage to the enemy. I can explain that because the video also said it, and I was like, oh, let me jot that down in my notes for everybody. So the first one that y'all seeing is the proximity sensor. It's going to essentially send out a post, and every time it actually scans somebody, it's not going to give you a full 3D body scan of them, but it is going to ping where the enemies are. Now, I don't know how long it lasts. In this video, it looked like it's going to be there for a cool little minute. So it's another way for you to kind of have a little extra recon. And then the next one that y'all see is some kind of chemical nades, and basically it's got some toxin in it. And if you hit the enemy with this is crazy, y'all. This is like status effect kind of shit. If you hit somebody with it, it's gonna do damage to their health and just ignore the shield altogether, almost like Caustic from Apex Legends, right? And it don't even stop there. If you using the assassin runner, which is the one that can kind of cloak, ain't no kind of heat, that nigga can cloak, but it's gonna reveal him and he ain't gonna be cloaked no more. That's fire. There's so many ways to counter damn near every runner in this game, and they got so many different items to try and help you out that it's almost like you ain't even necessarily got to worry about running with the right shell in the game if you got the right equipment to go with you. But it's also going to be extremely difficult for you to know what to take in every single raid. So now that comes down to the point where it's like you and your boys got to try and strategize and figure out, okay, what the hell we gonna take in this raid? Because you know they might be doing X, Y, and Z, and that could throw us off like this. But you could also be overthinking the whole situation and take some shit that you don't need and get popped. Now the next niggas then grabbed your shit and they like, hey, I ain't had this to begin with. I'll take this into my next raid. It's fire. I think that's fire. Now something else that I did really want to talk about before I even get up out of here, man, was like the in-between phase when you're actually not in fights in this game, because that's going to be a big part of the game too. Again, for all my other gamers out there that don't really play extraction shooters and you ain't big on them or whatever the case may be, but you want Marathon to also be your first extraction shooter, I would be doing y'all a disservice if I didn't kind of talk about this downtime, or what could be downtime for you in the game. As some of you might know, and maybe some of you don't, there is a big gap in extraction shooters when you playing them. Like there could be some windows where all you kind of doing is running around because you're trying to get from point A to point B, and maybe you trying to get up in there and you trying to get a key card to access some better loot or whatever the case may be, right? But there's these big ass openings, especially in Marathon. It looks like a lot of the maps have a lot of openings in this game. But what I've noticed is from all the videos that I've been watching is while that's going on, while you getting from place to place or whatever the case may be, it's real quiet in this game.
I'm done.
Like you hear yourself and you hear your teammates moving around, but other than that, it's pretty damn quiet on these planets. But I know some of y'all might be thinking, that don't sound exciting, Tutti. Hold on, let me explain why that actually could be a very big beneficial thing for you in every single raid. Because the damn game is so quiet when you in them downtimes, you can hear gunshots a lot better from teams that might be getting active with each other, or even if they're going up against some of the bots to try and, you know, get some of the better loot, you can hear that more clearly. You can hear if a team is being wild and just recklessly running across the open terrain, and you can see and hear them running across, and now you can get yourself some easy kills that way. You can hear when teams are calling in for supply drops. You can hear just about everything. Shit, you can probably even hear if somebody is inside of the building that you're trying to get to and they raiding stuff up in there, and now you can plan out how you want to attack this building, if at all. Now, the drawback to it being so damn open and so quiet is you also never know who's watching you. It could be one of the assassin runners out there, or it could be the recon one. It could be any of them just watching you with a damn sniper. And because you are in the open like that, you just easy pickings, you know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful when you running out there in the open like that. Now, it's the same thing even in other games like Arc Raiders, for example. There's a lot of open areas for people to be able to do the same things. I just wanted to let y'all know because you probably never played Arc Raiders and you have no idea. So keep that in mind, that there's a lot of open areas in this game for you to get popped on. But again, just keep in mind, man, the audio in this game from everything that I've listened to is really good. You can hear people from shit, who knows how far away. I hear them clear enough, even in the video that I'm watching. So you gonna have a good idea as long as you aware and stand on your toes at all times. Now, I know I didn't cover all the runners up in this, and honestly, I think I want to wait until I actually get my hands on the game and see what the runners is about, because I could read articles and I could kind of go off of them, yes, but I want to get a real, like, almost like I'm test driving a car, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see what my experience is with them before I start letting y'all know what's going on with them. From everything that I have seen from a lot of these gameplay reveals, some of these characters, I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, damn, these niggas look like they gonna be solid characters to run in this game. I've yet to see anybody who I'm like, I don't know, Bungie, that nigga don't look it. They just don't look like they it. There are some things where I'm like, well, maybe Bungie, we could add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But that's also something that I want to include in the video later down the line, because again, y'all, I want to be the one to get my hands on the characters and see. I want to make sure that I'm knowing exactly what the hell I'm talking about before I start saying, Bungie, you need to do this, Bungie, you could do this, or hey, maybe you should be thinking about doing this. You know what I'm saying? I just want to wait. But what I'm tired of waiting on is this game. Bungie, I know it's around the corner, but please, I need the game. I want to play it so bad. The addiction is real, y'all, and I ain't even got on this damn game. But to me, that's a good sign. I like that I'm this excited about the game. And no, I'm not getting paid to talk about it. I'm not partnered with them, even though Bungie, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But no, this is just some random dude on the internet just kind of giving his thoughts and what I'm seeing and giving you guys some good point of views and what you need to knows and shit like that before you get up in here and you try Marathon, because we all gonna be new runners together. But that's all I got for y'all, man. I just want to do a quick little Monday video showing y'all exactly some things that I figured out, and maybe it can help you be better prepared on Thursday. It does come out on Thursday, y'all, but a free. Don't be scared to jump in this game and try it out, man. They giving it to you for free until the 2nd, and then after that you gotta drop that 40 bomb. Get up in there, test the game out, see if it's for you, and have a good time, man. So I look forward to seeing all the new runners out there with me, and I look forward to catching you on the next video. Peace and egg grease.